What is up, guys? Hello, welcome to another video. I've just hit some windy roads, so I've got to stick it in sport and have some fun. And that is where we hit the speed limit. So, welcome to another video. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and liked and viewed it so far. I really appreciate everything, and let's just listen to me talking absolute rubbish on the channel about the cars and all that stuff. So as you see from the title of the video, my thoughts on the M135i, the 2020 M135i, not the previous kind of facelift of this M140. I don't know the model number. I think we're on a G now, maybe G80. I think that's the M2. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. Anyway, what are my thoughts and opinions on the M140? I'm currently on my way to work, so I thought I might just, you know, sit and do a little bit of a different video, stick a GoPro on and we'll sit and chat. So, M135i, we're looking at what, 40 grand? So about the same value of money for this car. And you're competing with A35, S3, Golf R kind of thing, and they're all four-wheel drive. So, you know, BMW have been very clever in kind of creating a car that is now for the masses, I imagine. You know, it's better for, it's competing better in terms of, you know, competition in the market. I'm probably going to sell more 1 Series as well. I've sat in the back of the 135i, I've actually test driven one as well. And there is just loads of headroom, loads of leg room. It's just going to be a great car for, you know, the older generation and the younger generation who are looking to get into the kind of the BMW, a big step up from, you know, your normal smaller brands. So right off the bat, let's address the elephant in the room. The M135i is never going to replace the M140. The two cars are just completely, you know, night and day. You've got a 3 litre straight 6 versus a 2 litre 4 pot. You've got 300 brake horsepower, whereas this a 340 brake. And then you've also got, you know, 450 newton-meters of torque versus this 500 newton-meters of torque. So when I test drove the 135i, I was constantly obviously thinking about what it was like driving it versus this car. You know, I've mentioned this in my previous videos, but the first time I took a friend out in this car, he was holding onto the back. He was holding onto the door handle. He was screaming, "Stop! Will stop!" The massive shove in the back, all that torque. You know, it gives me that kind of scare factor, and that's ultimately, you know, that little bit of fun that you get with a rear-wheel drive car that's got so much power. Now the 135i, it's perfect for English. It's perfect for us UK folks. You know, you've got the rain. It's obviously often greasy, wet, and snowy about 80% of the time here in the UK. So being four-wheel drive, it's just perfect. You know, you've got that kind of grip. You've got that more stability and reassurance that you're not gonna throw your car and wrap it around a tree or anything. But around town, it's great. It sounds good, and I'll slap some clips in of when I test drove it. It pops like mad, and around town, you know, when you flick into sport, it's got enough power to hit those windy roads and have a little bit of fun. And then, you know, on the motorway, it's a perfect little cruiser. Now, in terms of kind of miles per gallon, when I'm kind of driving to work and I'm on the motorway and stuff, I am going in eco. So I stick it in eco and I get about 34 miles to the gallon. So when I hit, you know, windy roads, I want to have a bit of fun, I'll stick it in Sport Plus. I'm getting 34 miles to the gallon, which is pretty good after 2 years. Now with the 135i, I've spoken to a few people and they get around about 25. So, you know, don't hate me in the comments, but this is what I've heard from people, and you think that's a little bit weird. It's a little bit odd for a 2 litre versus a 3 litre. You know, why is a 3 litre getting better MPG? I really don't know. I'm not an engineer on that, but you know, this is just what I've heard. This is what I've seen. Let me know in the comments if you know why correct me if I'm wrong. But this is just, you know, this is what I've heard about the 135i. Now, whilst driving the 135i, when I was on the motorway with it, I was constantly thinking about, you know, that time when I was giving my friend the ride in the car, and how his experiences with the car. So with his experiences with the 140, you know, there's no point buying really nice cars and enjoying them, yes, for yourself, but you know, ultimately a lot of the fun comes with when you give someone a ride and seeing their experiences with the car. So I guess I've been a little bit spoiled with the 140, going with the 135i. Naturally I was going to be comparing the two, and when I was on the motorway going at, you know, 50, 60 miles an hour, and I slammed my foot down, it gradually picked up speed. So it kind of felt like driving a normal 2 litre without turbos. It did just feel like, you know, a 250 brake horsepower car, whereas this, when you slam your foot down, you are instantly thrown back in the seat, and it just pulls and pulls until you just really hit silly speeds. And that, I think that's where the main difference between the 140 and the 135i really sit. It's kind of in the higher speeds, and not necessarily with, you know, launches and drag races and things, because you got you got four-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive, so it's always going to launch better. But you know, for day-to-day driving, the 135i is going to be great. It's stiff. It's a perfect little car. Honestly, if I was stepping up from like a GTI or, you know, any other car, like a 1 litre car or something that Hyundai i30N that I used to have, not an i30N, an i20. The i30N's a great car. Hyundai i20 that I used to have, you know, I think a 135i would be a perfect car to pick up. But coming from a 140, I think I'm just going to have to be looking at replacing this, possibly with like an A45S, an M2 competition, maybe even an old OG M2, RS3, that kind of bracket, because I've just been spoiled with, you know, fun factor in terms of performance. Now obviously, you know, you can talk about, you know, an Alfa Romeo 4C, it's probably got, you know, less power, but it's still a great fun car to drive. So I guess in that sense, pick the car that you have fun with. But for me, you know, I'm buying cars that are going to be, one, daily drivers, and I need to have that kind of fun and power when I want it to be. And you know, the 135i's got that, but the 140, the 140 can do that as well. So I don't know, that's just my opinion. Don't get me wrong, honestly, 135i, great car, highly rate it. Rate it over the A35 as well. I've been in one of those, test driven one of those. That felt a little bit soulless, I think. I've not been in an A45S, so I can't. Maybe they reserved a lot of, you know, the Merc AMG engineers reserved a lot of their experience, not really experience, they reserved a lot of the good stuff for the 45 and maybe took it all out of the 35. I don't know. So the 35 is still great. You know, it pops like mad, great round town. Hit the little windy roads, has loads of fun, but I'd probably choose a 135i just because it's a little bit stiffer, seems to pull a lot better. It's just a better, more driver-focused car, I think. So yeah, those are my opinions on the 135i from an M140i's perspective. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like it, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. Maybe would you pick up an S3, or you know, there's the new Audi A3's just come out, would you wait for that? Would you maybe choose a Golf R instead? Let me know what you think. I know a lot of 140i owners have actually traded in their 140s for an M135i, and they're very happy with it. So that's not to say that the 135i is an awful car. It's a great car, it has, but they sit in two different camps. They have two different pros and cons. But from a driver's perspective, I think, you know, a 140 for me is just going to be a perfect car. So I probably wouldn't be picking up a 135i myself. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm going to shut up here so not talk about any more rubbish about M135i's because they're great cars. So hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like it, comment down below, whatever. And I'll see you later.